Have you ever looked into the eyes of the person you love most in the world and realized that to them, you are already dead? Have you ever had to sit perfectly still, breathing softly, while the man who promised to protect you stands inches from your face and mocks your blindness? For 3 years, I lived in a world of velvet shadows. I am Olivia Thorne. Once, the world called me a prodigy, a concert pianist whose fingers could make the heavens weep. But after a mysterious car accident, the lights went out. I lost the stage, I lost the colors of the world, and I thought I had found my only anchor in the darkness. My husband, Ethan. He was my everything. He was the hand that guided me, the voice that read to me, the heart that I thought beat only for me. I was wrong. Ethan didn't love me. He loved the tragedy. He loved the control. And more than anything, he loved the $10 million insurance policy that was only valid as long as I was incapacitated. But 2 weeks ago, in a sterile clinic in the Swiss Alps, a miracle happened. A surgery that shouldn't have worked, did. When the bandages fell away, I didn't see shadows. I saw the sun. I saw the blue of the sky. I wanted to scream with joy. I wanted to fly home and fall into Ethan's arms and tell him the darkness was over. But something stopped me. A cold, nagging whisper in my soul. "Wait," it said. "Watch. Listen." So I went home. I kept my dark glasses on. I kept my white cane in my hand. I walked into my own house as a ghost, pretending to be blind, just so I could see the truth. And what I saw destroyed me more than the accident ever did. This is the story of the day I regained my sight and found myself living in a den of vipers. This is the story of the ultimate performance. Because in a house full of lies, a blind woman is the only one who can truly see. The homecoming was a masterpiece of dissonance. As I stepped into our mansion, Ethan was there. I smelled his expensive sandalwood cologne. I felt his warm breath on my cheek as he kissed me. "Welcome home, my sweet Olivia," he whispered. Through the dark tint of my glasses, I looked at him, truly looked at him for the first time in years. He wasn't the grieving, exhausted husband I had imagined. He was glowing. He looked younger. He looked victorious. "I missed you so much, Ethan," I said, my voice trembling. He thought it was love. It was terror. Behind him, standing in the shadows of our hallway, was Claire, his legal partner, a woman I had invited to our Christmas dinners. She was wearing my favorite silk robe. My robe. She stood there leaning against the mahogany wall, watching me with a look of pure, cold amusement. She didn't hide. Why would she? To her, I was just a piece of furniture that could hear but not see. That night, the torture began. I sat at the dinner table. Ethan served me a beautiful sea bass. "Careful, honey, it's hot," he said, his voice dripping with honeyed concern. I watched him through my lenses. As he spoke those words, he was looking at Claire, who was sitting across from me. He reached out and stroked Claire's hand while he fed me a piece of fish. I had to chew. I had to swallow. I had to pretend I didn't see their fingers interlaced over my plate. "The gala is tomorrow, Liv," Ethan said. "The foundation needs you. Everyone wants to see the brave, blind pianist one last time." "One last time?" I asked, my heart stopping. "I mean, before we take a long break," he corrected quickly. Claire smirked. She picked up a salt shaker and began to wave it in front of my face, back and forth, inches from my eyes. I didn't blink. I couldn't. I stared into the void, focusing on the hum of the refrigerator, while every nerve in my body screamed to claw her eyes out. "She's completely gone, Ethan," Claire whispered, her voice a jagged blade. "She's like a doll, a broken, sightless doll." After dinner, Ethan brought me my tea. "Drink this, darling. It will help you sleep. You have a big day tomorrow." I watched him. I watched his reflection in the window. He pulled a small vial from his pocket and emptied a gray powder into the cup. I knew that powder. It was a powerful sedative. Too much of it would slow the heart to a crawl. "Thank you, Ethan," I said. I took a sip. I pretended to cough. I reached for a napkin, and in that split second, I poured the tea into the thick rug beneath the table. "It's delicious," I whispered. I went to bed and lay perfectly still. I heard them in the hallway. I heard the muffled sounds of their laughter. "Tomorrow night," Ethan whispered. "The balcony at the Opera House. One trip, one fall, and the Thorne fortune is ours. No more pretending, no more darkness." I lay there in the dark, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of the shadows. I was afraid of the light, because the light showed me that I was married to a monster. The day of the gala felt like a funeral procession. Ethan was incredibly attentive. He helped me dress. He picked out a gown of midnight blue, the color of my old world. "You look like an angel, Liv," he said, zipping up the back. I looked at him in the mirror. He was smiling, but his eyes were calculating the height of the balcony. We arrived at the Thorne Opera House. The air was thick with the scent of lilies and expensive perfume. Hundreds of people were there to see the miraculous Olivia Thorne. Ethan led me to the stage. The lights were blinding. To the audience, I was a tragic figure. To Ethan, I was a paycheck. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan said, his voice booming through the auditorium, "my wife has lived in silence and darkness for 3 years, but tonight she will play for you, because even when the eyes are closed, the soul still sees." The irony almost made me laugh. I sat at the grand piano. The keys felt like cold teeth. Ethan stood at the side of the stage. Claire was in the front row wearing a diamond necklace Ethan had bought her with my money. I began to play, but I didn't play the Chopin concerto he had requested. I began with a single sharp note, a dissonance. I played the music of my rage. I played the sound of the car crashing. I played the sound of the powder hitting the tea. The music was beautiful, but it was terrifying. It was the sound of a woman coming back from the dead. The audience was frozen. Ethan's smile began to fade. He stepped closer to the stage, his eyes searching mine behind the veil I wore. "Liv," he whispered under the music. "What are you doing? Stick to the arrangement." I didn't stop. I reached the crescendo, my fingers flying across the keys with a speed I hadn't possessed even before the accident. Then I stopped. The silence that followed was absolute. It was the silence of a grave. "Ethan," I said into the microphone. My voice didn't shake. It was as cold as the Swiss Alps. "Olivia, honey, you're confused. Let me help you down," Ethan said, rushing onto the stage. I stood up. I didn't reach for his hand. I reached for the veil. I ripped it off. I looked him dead in the eye. For the first time in 3 years, I let him see the fire in my pupils. "I am not confused, Ethan. But you are. You're confused because you thought I was a victim. You thought I was a witness who couldn't see." The crowd erupted in murmurs. Ethan froze. "Liv, your eyes." "My eyes see everything, Ethan," I said, my voice echoing like a judgment. "I saw you in our study 2 nights ago. I saw you kissing Claire in my favorite robe. I saw you pour the sedative into my tea. I saw the insurance documents you signed, betting on my death tonight." I pointed to the large screen behind the stage, the one meant to show my past performances. "I may have been blind, Ethan, but I wasn't stupid. I set up my own cameras, I have the recordings. I have the audio of you and Claire discussing how tragic my fall from the balcony would be." The screen flickered to life. It wasn't me playing the piano. It was a grainy, high-definition video of Ethan and Claire in our bedroom, laughing as they checked the vial of powder. $10 million, Claire." Ethan's voice boomed through the opera house. And finally, silence from that blind bitch. The gasp from the audience was like a physical wave. Claire tried to bolt for the exit, but the doors were already blocked by the police officers I had called an hour before the show. Ethan looked at the screen, then at me. His face crumpled. The handsome mask was gone. He looked like a cornered rat. "Olivia, I can explain. It was a joke. It was a game." "The game is over, Ethan," I said. I walked to the edge of the stage. I didn't need a cane. I didn't need a hand. You told me that even when the eyes are closed, the soul still sees, I whispered to him as the officers climbed the stage. But you forgot the most important part. When the eyes finally open, the truth is the only thing left standing. Ethan was dragged away in handcuffs, screaming my name, begging for mercy he never gave me. Claire was taken out in tears, her diamonds catching the light she tried to steal from me. I stayed on the stage. The audience was standing now. They weren't clapping for a tragedy. They were clapping for a survivor. I sat back down at the piano. I played one last song. A song of light. A song of the sun rising over the mountains. I played until my fingers bled. I am back in my house now. I burned the silk robe. I threw out the sandalwood cologne. The mansion is no longer a prison. It is a home. I still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, reaching for my glasses, afraid that the darkness has come back. But then I look at the moonlight streaming through the window. I look at my hands. I look at the world. I am Olivia Thorne. I was blind, but now I see. And I will never close my eyes again. The moral of the story. We are often told that love is blind, but true love should be the ultimate form of sight. It should see our flaws and cherish them. It should see our pain and heal it. If someone in your life is trying to keep you in the dark, literally or emotionally, it is not because they are protecting you. It is because they are hiding from the light of your truth. Trust is a gift, but awareness is a weapon. Never apologize for being too observant or too suspicious. Your intuition is the only thing that belongs truly to you. The darkness may hide the monster for a while, but it cannot change the monster's heart. And remember, the most dangerous person in the room is not the one who can see everything, but the one who lets you think they see nothing. Open your eyes, look at the people around you, and if you find yourself in the dark, don't just wait for the light. Be the one who strikes the match.